Hello, Sego Ani. I'm here today to show you how to make some simple chokers that look like this. They're just made of with beads, leather, some sinew, and they're really simple and easy to make. You will need some leather cut into either this shape or square, and then you can always trim it down later if you decide to do it in a square. You're going to need some rectangular pieces of leather like this, and we are going to be gluing these together to make our own spacers. You will also need some bone beads and some pony beads like I have here. Just simple bone beads, simple pony beads. You're going to need 2 pieces of leather for tying for after. We're going to need a needle and some sinew, some scissors, and some glue. Now this is the glue here that most of my crafter friends use. You can get that at Walmart. Also in the end, we will be needing a leather punch. If you continue and want to do chokers again, you can go to your crafts to buy bone spacers. You can also find leather spacers at some crafting stores, and they already have the holes pre-done in them. Today we're making our own spacers. So we will begin by putting some glue just along the edge there on your rectangular piece, and you're just going to fold it together and you're going to set it aside. Do that for both pieces and just set it aside, and it'll dry as we get started. So you want to take your sinew and thread your needle with it. And then we want to pick up the first piece of leather. And I should show you a little trick too before you begin. Is you can take 3 of your beads and put them on here side by side like this, and you could mark them off so you know where your needle goes each and every time. Same thing when we do the spacers. You can again take your beads, put them along, and put a marking on. I've already done this with the spacer here, but that's what you can do, and it just helps keep it so that everything's even, and you don't have to worry about, oh, where am I going to put the next hole or anything like that. So you just put them on there, and just take a pen or pencil and mark it off. So we'll get started by putting your needle into the leather at one end, so not in the middle but at a corner end, and we are going to put that needle all the way through. You may need a thimble. Some people need a thimble, so that's you may need that and have that on hand. For our sinew, I used a 2-split sinew so that we can easily tie it on the inside, and then that knot and that tie will be hidden when we glue it together at the end. So I'm just going to tie this off. And then I'm going to start. I've chosen the turquoise blue and black beads, so I'm going to do a sequence of the turquoise blue, black, turquoise blue again, and then a bone. And then I will repeat that again at the other end. Black and blue. And then you can just pull that so it's sitting there. And that's when you're going to take your spacer. And at the top, where you can put a pre-hole in, or just take your needle and stick it in there and pull. Right. And then you're going to repeat. Now altogether we have 54 pony beads that we're going to be using today. And you just repeat that again. And then we get to our next spacer. Now, with our spacers, because we had glued them together, you know, so this part's kind of smooth, and this part, I would call it rough, because that's the part we glued together. When you're putting this together, make sure you line it up so that you have both smooth sides facing out and the rough sides facing in, or vice versa. So we're going to just, again, put this needle through the spacer, like so, and then continue with our beads and bone. Now you can use any size beads, you know, if you wanted to use round beads instead of these pony beads, you can use real bone. You know, these ones here are just plastic. I'm just doing this for the demonstration. And now we've come to an end. So we're going to take our other piece here, and we are going to put it through the leather, just like we did at the other end. And also don't make the mistake I made by putting it on backwards. So that's a good teaching lesson right there. When you put this together, make sure you put it right side so that you're not having to take your project apart. So we put it back in this way. So we're going to just stick this part in on the smooth part. As you've seen, I just put that in backwards, which again is a good teaching lesson for everybody. Then you're going to go back in through here. Again, you can mark out where you want these to go back through, or, you know, you can just leave it and, you know, wing it, as some people would do, because that's how we learn. It's just by trial and error. And it doesn't have to be perfect if this is the first time you're doing it. So we're going to do that again, is just repeat, putting all the beads on, and bones again, and also hooking it. And you're going to put it into your spacer again. You're definitely going to need a good needle, a nice sharp needle for this project. And you're just going to keep repeating until you get to the end. So another blue, another black, another turquoise blue with a bone, and a blue, and then we're just going to put that in the next spacer. Just pull it through. Now you don't want to pull too tight, but you do want to pull it snug enough that it's not too loose either. And then just finish up the end here. A blue, black, another blue, another bone. And then when you get down to this end again, it's the same thing. You're just going to put it into the end here. And you're going to want to pull it through, just like that. And I always fold it over, just to make sure that as I'm going along, that it's tight enough. Not too loose, but not too tight. If you pull it too tight, it'll just make it look all kind of lopsided. So you want to make sure you pull tight, but not too tight. And then you're going to just take that needle and go back through over here. And if you need to, again, use your thimble. Fold this in half a wee bit. Like this. And then you're going to repeat again. So we have the blue, a black, another blue, a bone, another black, and a blue. Go back through your spacer. Now in the end, if these spacers end up being too long, if you find that, you know, oh, I made it too long, that's okay. You can just give it a little trim in the end. You know, we'll worry about that in the end. I know the spacer on here is a little bit too big, but it's something I can fix in the end. Oops. So repeat again with the sequence of beads that you started with. And here's your bone. The 3 beads, and then back into the spacer. It should be this one here. You may also need a pair of pliers to pull your needle through if it gets too tough when doing it on the leather. Like trying to pull it through the leather, it can be pretty tough at times. So here's another blue and a black and another blue. So this one we're just gonna pull it into the end here and pull her back through. Using the table for a little bit of help. So now fold over, pull this in, and there is the project, your choker. And now we just need to tie this end, and this is where I say having that 2 split sinew where you can split the sinew up would be a lot better. If you can't do that or unable to, you know, if you have a sinew it's not a splittable sinew, you can always just take your needle and just like tie it into a big knot. That'll work too. I just like doing it this way because it's easy, simple, And when we go into the schools to teach the children, this is the easiest method for them. Once you get the, enough that you feel is strong knots, you can just trim off the excess sinew. And then we will take these ends and we're going to put some glue in here, one on each end, and put these together. So we'll just take our glue. You can also use Elmer glue. It works as well. I just find this one here is quick and very tacky, so it works great on getting any project finished. So you just want to put some glue on there and flip these over like so, and then just let them dry for a few minutes, and we'll pull and trim up the excess off of this. So we need now to get our leather straps out, which we're going to put in the end when we poke our holes in. So you want to get those leather straps and your scissors ready. The trick to it is, we're going to take this piece of leather here, like this. We're going to fold it up, like this. And you're just going to take your scissors and give it a little bit of a cut. Just enough. I'll do a little bit more there. Just enough that we can pull our leather through, because I'm going to show you a trick. You pull it through, and then we can see, so it has that little bit of a hole. I've already done this one up, and then we'll check on these. Once these are dry, you can start to trim it. You can trim around if it needs trimming around. This one needs a little bit trimming around. If you feel that your spacers are a little too tall, again, you can trim that as well. And then really, once your glue is dry, you can just take your leather punch and just use the smallest. I'm just using the smallest hole. Just punch a small hole in it, one at each end. So each end has a hole. And as I said, we can do some trimming at this time as well, because you have enough. As you're waiting for some end pieces to maybe dry a little bit longer, just give a little trim, just to make it look neat and tidy. There, just, like I said, just trim around it. Now, if your spacers, which my spacers are just a tad, so I'm just going to take a tiny bit off of each spacer there to make it sort of even. Okay. I might do this one a bit more on this side. And then with these guys here, now this is always tricky too. you know, you could make a mistake every time. Take your end of your leather here and cut a point to it, like so, just so that you can feed it through your hole. Now this is the back side. You're just going to put that through there. Get your leather back through that hole that you just, the back. And just pull it downward. Right. You're going to pull. So you're going to put it through. And make sure you put it through the right way. So see, I put it through this way, but I want it to go so that this piece here is on the other side. So I'm going to end up taking this, because this all went through. I went through this way. So I'm going to take this back out, and I'm going to go through the other way. Like this. Because I know people... Every class I have taught, I've had a lot of people have trouble with this part here. And it is tricky. I did make this hole a little bit bigger than what I normally would do, but that was also so that I could show you on how it's done. Okay. And then all you do after, just take a little bit of glue, put a little bit of glue here, and then hold it down in place, and you have one string done, and that is on the back side. So on the front, it's going to look like that. And you just put a little bit of glue down there to hold it in place. Again, you do the same thing with the other side. And you want it on the back side. Make sure you trim your leather. It's easier to get through the holes. I'm just going to put it through. Pull, 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 pull. And same thing with this. Just going to twist it down a tiny bit. Put it through the hole. And pull, 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 pull. Oh dear. Yep. Sometimes you can have trouble with these, but don't get discouraged. Don't ever get discouraged, because it's, you know what, it never, and any craft you do or try for the first time, having troubles with this one, you will have problems, but that's what makes crafting and learning so much fun, is the trial and error. Which I'm trying, because I erred. So, hopefully, I can get this to cooperate with me. Through that hole again. There. Now this one I'm actually going to trim a tiny bit of that off of there. And then, like I said, all we have to do now is a little bit of glue here. Not much. Enough to just hold down our piece. A little bit of glue on this side. Again, not much, but enough to hold down our piece into place. Move these And it's just like that. And you can fancy your strings up on it, and you know, you could put other items on it, like you could hang things down if you want. It's just a matter of learning and playing with beads and playing with say bones and other pieces. Even with your leather, there could be another way that you want to do this. Instead of this way, you could want to do it a different way. But this is just a simple, easy choker. I know it doesn't take a whole lot of time once you get going at it, once you have everything cut out and the pieces ready to go. But I hope you had fun and that you learned how to do this and it was easy for you. Thank you very much for coming out and participating. Now let me switch.